All right, welcome everyone. We are Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episode 25. Both
All right.
civil wars are resolved.
They're resolved, and we have characters that have now crossed sides.
Yep.
Merkatz is now joining up with Yang. Things are looking quite good, I would say, for Yang's side of things. In some ways,
Yes.
in difference to where Reinhardt is, because Reinhardt is starting to hit the top.
Yeah.
And in terms of kind of progression for his character, that means he might have to stop and then something might be bothering him, you know?
Indeed. And there are potential issues that can come about with the whole, nuking civilians situation.
No. Yeah.
Seriously,
collateral damage.
Flush Oberstein out the nearest airlock. just
See,
pop some champagne afterwards and...
I think that in terms of what we'll get, actually, it will just be a little bit more of a give and take and an acknowledgement of, I know who you are. I know what you are, Oberstein. And yes, you did well. But remember, Kirhai still exists.
Indeed.
See, this isn't just now it's suddenly, everything's all doom and gloom. Oberstein has Reinhardt in his clutches. Mm-hmm. If anything... I'm really interested to see how much Kirhais will be able to tug at Reinhardt to the side and go, hey, you realize what just happened here, right? And Reinhardt will go, wait, maybe there's something you know that I don't. What, and he allows him to speak, and then Kirhais gives some good perspective there. So there could be some good back and forth.
Just not right for you, You need to just break up with him and be done with it.
Oh, God. I'm so glad that Yang doesn't have to deal with that right now. But can you imagine if he had to deal with that, at some point in the future? Who would be his Kirhais? He doesn't really...
Not really.
Julian, maybe?
He kind of is the Kirhais, if anything, for the Alliance.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening to him.
Thankfully, he has a good squad underneath him there.
And
we got to see him connect with a bunch of them and kind of establish a bunch of things with regards to things going on at the Isolon Fortress.
Yep.
And then also, get prepared for, welcoming a defectee.
High Admiral Chad.
Admiral, yes. So that's a big thing. So which story are we going to focus on? I guess we'll see. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right, well, that's, that was way too convenient.
It was nice knowing you, Kirhais.
Yeah, it was nice knowing you, buddy. Yeah.
I mean, he might... Not.
No.
Okay.
Let me show you. The way they situated things was perfect. They had him stop before actually getting to the end of the...
okay, that's right. And Kirhais was literally right next to him.
This shot here.
Yeah.
Where you see... what's his name again? Let's bring this up here real quick. No, just give me a second. I got it. Ansbach, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
But man, Kirhais is still in between him and Reinhardt. He's on the side of the right side of the coffin.
Yep.
All right.
The fact, though, that at this point they had him open the casket, that's at some point where I would feel a little bit
right.
I would feel a little bit like, what are you doing? And there's all these other admirals right here. Okay. Let's actually see this as a way that we can have this go a little bit positive. I still think Kirhais is going to die. He's going to leap in the way and save Reinhardt because he said he's going to get it. He's going to understand.
Yep,
definitely. And at the point where he listens to his sisters, always listen to the things he says. Talk to him about this. She trusts his judgment over me, which is no, that's not exactly the point she's trying to make. The point is that she trusts his judgment. Right. It has nothing to do with you. It's just that he's a good apple. Keep him nearby.
Yep, because there will be times where you will not be making the best judgments. Because you're human, right?
Because everyone makes mistakes at times.
And what's so perfect about this, but also horrible about this, not in a technically horrible, but just emotionally horrible, is that they ended on basically bad words to each other, right? Where Reinhardt basically said that
you're my subordinate.
You're my subordinate, not my friend, right?
Well, he didn't say not my friend.
No, I know, no, but it was something where he very much was trying to remind him, you are my subordinate. Like, I know, we're friends and stuff, but first, you're my subordinate, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he realized, oh man, yeah, I really should have listened to Kirheis. And he was even playing it over and over again to make sure that, it was like he was wanting to make sure that he never forgot, right? Of yeah, all right, yep, or, that's right.
Here's something I almost thought he was doing as well. He had those little, digital kind of tape things or what have you. It seems weird to say digital tapes, but I think what he was doing was he was looping it so that he could get the perfect recording. And then once he pulled the thing out, he's like, now I've got it. Because that was probably also the device to store the hologram info itself. But I like to think there was a possibility that he was like, oh, I'm going to keep this as a thing of anytime I'm feeling distraught, always listen to Kirheis. Okay, all right.
It's his reverse of Azula Always Wise. It's his custom ringtone. Someone calls in, it's always trust Kirheis, always trust Kirheis,
Yeah. And this is something that's actually rather interesting in terms of the always trust Kirheis. If this leads to Kirheis' death, which I'm 95% certain it will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope it doesn't, but let's say it does. Who will Reinhardt trust now?
Yeah, he doesn't really have anybody.
And I think this is where Oberstein was right, is that by creating a number 2, Reinhardt puts himself into a single point of failure as far as things go. Because Oberstein, if we see it from his perspective, he doesn't see Kirheis as a negative influence. He just sees him as an influence that could be corrupted. Someone that is a human being. He has no special attachment to Kirheis. And he sees him basically given the preferential treatment that was typical of nobles that he so despised. So he sees this as because he was your family friend from 10 years ago, that means something more than what Mittermeier and Ruenthal bring to the table as actually some of the best commanders we have. And why not at least elevate them to equal status as Kirheis? Then it feels a little bit more, balanced.
Yeah. And what I like what he's addressing here is that he's like, hey, even if Kirheis is an exception from the standpoint that he's never going to betray you, there's still the idea that it could divide the loyalties of your subordinates, which even if Kirheis never utilizes that, it's still something that you don't want to have going on in your organization.
Right, because then other people could see Kirheis' position, like Ruenthal kind of had that little moment of, wait a minute, and see, maybe I have some ambition. Maybe I want that number 2 spot. That's so true. And I love that Oberstein kind of dialed back things a little bit and was like, yeah, I need to be careful here because I did overstep my bounds a little bit. So I'm going to be a little bit more tactful, a little bit more strategic with this, and basically said things that were good. Yeah. He didn't say anything that was, I would say, sowing some kind of seeds of discontent, except for the fact that apparently there's a rumor that they had some harsh words. Now, let's be real. No one out here in the show is getting the character focus upon which that they have any discontent with Kirheis. So it is probably, Oberstein and his subordinate, who I will look into seeing who that was, because that might have been someone else.
It might not have been Fahrenheit?
No, it might not have been Fahrenheit, because
I think
Fahrenheit wasn't here yet.
He had gray hair, I think. Yeah,
so this is this Mueller? Mueller? Vice Admiral Mueller, maybe? No, it doesn't look exactly like him, though.
Looks kind of like him, but not quite.
I'll see if there's anyone in the lip side.
But also, Reinhardt, this is the second time in a very short period of time where...
it's Fellner, the one who was the spy.
Okay.
Yep.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Yep. But this is the second time. Now, granted, Reinhardt hasn't heard about the rumor that there was some sort of falling out or whatever, fight, squabble between Reinhardt and Kirheis. But there was also the rumor about the whole nuke situation, right?
Yes.
No one knew about that. No one knew that they were planning, no one knew that that's what Reinhardt was doing and everything, and he still managed to get there within the 6 hours, which was the amount of time that would have been needed in order to save them if Oberstein's info had been correct.
If Oberstein's info is correct, which we don't even know.
But he did definitely say that, Oberstein, you scoundrel or whatever, So I'm just saying, like Oberstein could definitely, that same hatred that he has for the nobility of the other people in the Empire, he could have towards Reinhardt as well. Like,
yeah, I don't think he does. I think that the main thing is that he's looking at things a little bit in the differences between the mid and the long term. So when he looks at kind of the immediate kind of consequences of millions dying and stuff, he's like, no. We actually were able to systematically defeat the nobles completely. Like that was a total victory for them.
I see this as an absolute win.
Yeah, I see this as an absolute win. Yeah, exactly. Then he looks into the midterm and goes, okay, in the midterm, what's going to happen is that Reinhardt will have at some point supreme executive power, and be able to change the system. And if he is at the very least positioned in such a way to where he can kind of be there for when that happens, Reinhardt will say, hey, give me some of your advice on this specific thing here.
Yep.
And I think in some ways that's all Oberstein really wants. Yet, we know that he has an emotional core to a lot of his motivations and plans. Therefore, you're right, there is a slight possibility that he doesn't care about the far long term. In that a post-Reinhardt universe or galaxy, he doesn't really care too much about that and how it looks. He's kind of in it more for just the, let's clean house, and then I'll have to maybe rethink things. Because I don't think he's so, like, he's definitely a more Machiavellian kind of manipulative genius, but I don't think he is so far sight kind of ability to kind of plot things out ahead that he sees maybe, things going somewhere, like he sees his plan going places beyond the, the Galactic Civil War between
I just hope
the Alliance.
I just hope we don't end up getting a twist that it's like, oh, Oberstein is actually secretly a member of like the Earth Cult, like that would also cause complications and issues and things like that.
Yeah, I think there's no evidence to suggest that yet.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah. Like, as long as we are aware that the big third-party threat is the combination of Rubinsky, Fejan, and the Earth Cult potentially all aligned together, creating a third faction, or having them literally like pilot through manipulation one of the factions,
like TrueNet.
Well, yeah, like the Alliance in some ways to victory. Yeah, that's something that we can't have happen either. So maybe in that case, it would create the third faction being Yang's rebellion.
I gotta say, cool. With as much backstory as like in flashbacks that we got,
there was quite a bit.
There was quite a bit of flashbacks. Now, thematically, it totally makes sense for it to be here because
next episode.
Well, right, because and because it's something where Reinhardt is really having like a
crisis of conscience.
A dark night of the soul kind of a thing where he's he's really going through all this stuff and so it's important that it be here, right? Because this is where Reinhardt's focus is going, right?
Yep.
But I'm kind of surprised that with all that backstory, with all that build up to Kierheis dying, like, I mean, they set it up as the cliffhanger of Reinhardt might die, right? But I mean, it's probably going to be Kierheis. So I'm kind of curious why they didn't show Kierheis taking the hit.
Well, so I think what's important here, the main thing that they showed was that Kierheis gave up his gun.
Yes,
that was the most important thing I'd say with this, because Kierheis would be the kind of person, in my opinion, fastest draw in the West. Once the guy monologues, "I'm here to avenge my," Like, this is one of the things. This is one of the things I love and hate about anime is that you have to have those little monologue moments where time is frozen because anime.
Yep.
But the thing is that the fact that this guy opened up the casket, dug around
off the shirt,
dug around in a corpse, basically.
Right.
It wasn't really a corpse, really. It was an open packet of stuff to where the gun was hidden. pulls out the gun, brings it to his shoulder. Yeah. Maybe it looked like a camera to some of these guys on the side. I don't know. But the fact that all this is happening, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds.
It's not
I'm here to avenge my lord.
Right. It's not like it's a pistol and he pulls it out and just shoots. Bam, bam, bam. You know, it's the...
Well, he needed something that was with extreme prejudice, terminate all that are within this
this is like a rocket launcher, like...
Yeah, I want to look at the gun, because I don't think it is going to fire a projectile. I think it's an energy wave,
it looked like it was
weapon.
Firing something triangular.
So... Or
maybe it's some kind of, like, crazy laser thing.
Well, I think it had some almost element of fire. Yeah. So in some ways, it was almost a combustion weapon from the launch of from the firing mechanism. Like, it immediately explodes out in a cone. So, hey, in this respect, this is the thing that I would actually see as being something that, okay, I'm going to go on the no one dies train here for a second.
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
This is an AoE weapon. Now, it could be that this is just the explosion and then the projectile is coming out in the midst of the explosion.
Sure.
That would be the worst possible scenario here, because then it can easily be blocked. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I thought would be really cool here,
mm-hmm.
is to show Kirhais being the first person to, like, hit the side of the weapon, dislodging it to the side. Now...
In a perfect world, he would move it to the side, and it would hit Oberstein.
It's set up potentially. This is my crazy brain theory. Is if you look at the angles here, Jacob.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
if
he's to the left of the weapon.
Yeah.
And Oberstein is to the left from Reinhardt's perspective,
so
but from our perspective to the right.
Yeah.
If he moved it and changed the angle,
oh man, I gotta
being
say,
an AOE weapon. No. This is the thing. We could get a situation where they both take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing that would be really cool. I'm not going to go for Oberstein actually is the one that dies. No. Come on.
We can dream.
Yeah, we can dream. But no. That's not what's going to happen. And I don't think, if anything, I don't feel like that's even something where I
truly want that
to happen. No, I think it's way more interesting with Oberstein in the show.
He does give good advice.
No, but I mean, compare him to the admirals in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have as much character as Oberstein right now. None of them do. Like that's just fact. Like it's Oberstein is a way more developed character and has far more like impetus and agency moving his story. So until these other admirals get even more development, I want Oberstein to be involved because he makes things interesting. The gun firing ends up displacing out really quickly, does serious damage, like gives Reinhardt like some facial disfiguration, like burns off like a chunk of like, you know, Oberstein's like lovely, you know, silver hair locks that come, you know, out amongst his gray hair or something like that. But like almost immediately, Kirhais is like got him in a martial like grapple, breaks his arm, you know, and it's all the other admirals are like, you know, ready to just plow his face in, you know, with their fists. And then Reinhardt like comes out of the smoke and he's just like, we're going to make an example out of you. And then you see that Oberstein kind of influenced, you know, wrath of pure power come down on him.
Yeah.
And then Kirhais goes and just for a second goes, whatever as you wish, Reinhardt. Basically, in a moment of going, I trust you. I trust you to make the right decision here. And then, of course, later in private, he specifically goes to Kirhais and he goes, you know, I think I'm going to let you carry your weapon in here for the next foreseeable future. And he's like, Reinhardt, we can't have him show preferential treatment. He's like, oh, you're right. Okay, maybe I'll let all the admirals carry weapons in here, but we're going to have guards posted at my side as well. for your guys' thing there, and it turns into a humor thing, like it's some banter. I know that's not gonna happen.
So not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
So not gonna
but
happen.
I want a dream. Yeah. I was ready for another 25 episodes of Cure Heist.
I know. Like, I can't believe, like, I asked that, like, what, like a couple episodes ago, or like last episode or something like that. Yeah, and then here we have it. Like, okay. Here's something that could happen that I could potentially see happen.
Okay.
Cure Heist risks life and limb in order to save Reinhardt. He saves Reinhardt. He gets mortally wounded in the process. Maybe he doesn't die. Maybe he's able.
5 episodes. He's out.
He's able to be saved, right? Yep. But he's on his way out, and or even if he's not
spine's
dead,
broken,
right? And even if he's not dead, he can't serve in the military anymore, really, because he's he is done, right?
I want to say a very specific JoJo's reference right now after everyone in the crowd was going, all... German medical technology is the best in the world! Come on!
Yeah. Yes, he comes back and he has, guns mounted onto him and everything.
No. Just a cybernetic, torso, basically.
With the machine gun.
Oh, my God. Where he's, thrusting
30 millimeter rounds, armor piercing. But...
Oberstein, you're not ready for this.
But in all seriousness, if this is where Cure Heist goes, that's going to be really sad.
It's going to be really painful. Yeah.
And this is the thing that kind of concerns me a little bit. Mm-hmm. They ended with Reinhardt being the cliffhanger being that Reinhardt might die. Right?
Right.
Which means that if Cure Heist dies, it's going to be at the start of the next episode.
Right.
If that happens, then that means they have a whole episode to deal with the act of him actually dying, then also immediate consequences of his death.
Well,
which one of them is the fact that Reinhardt can't really truly trust anyone now.
Right.
And there has already been seeds of dissent sown throughout through his organization.
Yes.
Whether by Oberstein or whoever, we don't know, but that's a big issue. And there's still people like Fahrenheit out there who also want Reinhardt dead.
So I don't think it's Fahrenheit that was specifically the one that did that.
He seemed to have a pretty cocky smile of yes, I will serve you kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think if anything, Fahrenheit might be just another more kind of strategic tactical one who's going to be very useful, but he doesn't have anything malevolent as far as I can tell,
or maybe at the very least not suicidal, because it's
sure,
because that what's the guy's name that actually pulled out the gun,
right.
He Ansbach. He wasn't planning on surviving.
No, of course not.
No. That
right. He's part of the nobility kind of way of doing things. I wanted to bring up something here that I have noticed in this show as a theme for its main 2 characters. And this is something of, leadership is stressful.
Yes.
I could use some more alcohol.
Oh.
And, Reinhardt grabbed Cure Heist's glass, and I think there's 2 thematic things that are important here.
Yeah.
One is the obvious thing of he's a little stressed and he could use a little bit more buzz. He's like, one glass of wine? What am I?
Right.
No.
I'm no lightweight.
It's nothing. That's nothing. That does nothing. It's wine. But if it's the act of viewing the wine as blood, it's him saying, I will bear all the responsibility for the blood. I will no longer share this with you. I think the other thing that would be, I would say, thematically appropriate here is this is him basically saying whatever the cup basically is, the consequences, not the responsibility. This is different.
Right.
I'm talking about the effects of the decisions I made here.
Yep.
I will drink it.
And I will drink it to its full till it's done and gone.
If it's poisoned or whatever.
Right. And I will make sure that you won't have to drink any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was going to bring that up if you didn't.
Yeah. In that respect, once he grabbed that glass of wine, I almost wanted to say, oh crap, Cure Heist is going to go soon. That was basically, if Cure Heist has no cup to drink from, then why was it served in the first place,
Yeah.
There's so many things of where it's the when the Knights of the Round Table kind of sit down and you realize that the table was adjusted slightly to be smaller because no, there's only so many members of us now. We don't leave the chairs open. We like literally like adjusted the size of the table or spaced out the chairs differently, and it feels wrong. So this part to me just felt that little bit of off. I was like, yeah, I get it, Kirheis, that you weren't there really wanting to drink necessarily, but yeah.
And the whole thing of the wine being, you know, blood red, and then the light shining through it to shine the bread tint,
the stain on his hand,
the stain on his hand, you know, and the idea that because of that's a stain that you can't wipe away, you know, kind of a thing, like
because it's not actually a stain.
Because it's not actually a stain. Like, you can move the wine glass.
We saw the symbolism. It was It was obvious,
and I really liked how they did that. As far as content that happened this episode, there wasn't too much because there was so much, like
a lot of flashbacks and stuff.
But I'm kind of curious because, like, sometimes we've had episodes where it focuses on the same nation twice in a row. I think they did that with Yang and whatnot during some of the revolutionary stuff.
They're definitely going to address this cliffhanger.
There's
no way they would skip
I know.
over to Yang in the next episode.
Because they better not. Like
no, they won't. There's no way.
Because that would just be the biggest dick move.
I will. Like, what will I do? I will eat something that is not good for me to eat. Like I'm trying to find something here that makes sense, but like.
And okay, theoretically, they could focus on the alliance by having Kirheis die at the beginning, and then have the aftermath for it also show the alliance of like someone made an attempt.
That's different though,
his life,
but that's different though than not addressing the cliffhanger at all. Obviously they're going to address it. So here we are. We are in a situation where Reinhardt has had an assassination attempt. It is probably not going to succeed, in that Reinhardt is probably not even going to get hurt that much. I could see him getting really hurt. However, the thing that I find maybe a little bit kind of silly about this scene is that, you know, there's a whole security thing outside, no weapons and all that. Then they bring the casket in and it's like, what? They had no technology to scan things. I get it. This was made in the 80s. That's cool.
The video holograms are on physical cards.
Exactly. But I do find it funny that this guy brought in a gun when literally, like, all he'd have to do is miss.
Right. Like, it would make a lot more sense if it was like a big bomb and he just pulls it out, kills everyone in the room.
Well, no, he doesn't even need to pull it out.
Oh, yeah.
He just puts his hand in the casket and does something. And
then the whole room doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. This is the sci-fi future thing. I find it a bit hard to believe that, one, the gun would make its way in here at all. Two, that Ansbach, a member of the Braunschweig Revolution, would be allowed to escort the cactus in. Two, that it was a gun and not something that would just instantly kill everyone. Which maybe the angle I should be going with that is that because it's in the future, actually, he wouldn't have had access to something that powerful, which I buy. I buy that for sure.
Sure, maybe it was what he was able to grab when they took the body there, so they just had what was on hand.
Right, except for the fact that this was something that was planned from the point they surrendered Geisberg Fortress. There's probably a lot of ways that they could have specifically.
They still had munitions and stuff when, like, with
they could
what little they were
something
fighting.
Really incendiary and powerful in the body. And if there's no real scanning technology in this world, this universe, that's that strong or what have you, or that possible to detect, something odd with the body, cool. Then it doesn't matter what's inside it. It's going to make its way through anyway. So put the most effective thing in there.
Now, maybe it's something where, like, it shooting out like fire, seemingly, maybe it's like a very specific gun that, like, wouldn't get registered on scanners. You know, it was like, it was actually a flamethrower and, or something like that. And, like who knows, right? And that's why it's like, hey, I'll do this. That way they won't be able to detect it. And
the discs are on physical copies. But flamethrowers come in this little, like,
shoulder mount,
awkward, this camcorder-looking thing with. Sure,
we'll see how it goes with the next episode.
Anytime I'm just making these kind of little, nitpicks, it's me just basically saying that
You're not ready.
Well, yeah, kind of. It's me in denial of the fact that it's going to happen. But it's kind of me saying that what I love most about Legend of the Galactic Heroes is not the action, combat, technology kind of stuff. It is the characters being involved in a very well done political drama.
Yep.
And then the fact that we get dual protagonists along dual stories moving in parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great stuff. I love the show, y'all. I'm just saying, like, there's things in this show that can feel a little silly sometimes.
Kirheist, you deserved better than to be taken out by some bullshit, gun
that wasn't
cut on scale.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, author, all right, you want Kirheist to die.
I mean, he does have red hair, which, by the way, is another kind of maybe symbolism potentially with the whole red wine thing. He goes to take Kirheist's glass so that Kirheist doesn't have to drink it, but Kirheist is already stained red.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
No, I'm scraping the bottom.
It's reaching a little bit,
but I'm reaching into the carcass,
right? But I like the consistency of the red because it goes to his flagship as well. So it's more of a uniform.
And he parked right next to you.
Yeah,
I don't know why that.
Do you think he'll actually give, in some ways, the position? He won't really listen, and if anything, he'll actually kind of go. Kirheist had a flagship and a fleet, so we need to give someone that flagship and fleet.
Mittermeier, Ruhenthal. Arm wrestle for it. Fight to the death.
No. I mean, do you think that he's going to divvy up the fleet and then the flagship will just be scuttled, or he'll just put it into his own fleet as like I don't want to see it go.
Better not freaking give it to Oberstein.
Oh, sure. Sure. That's
I gotta
possible.
say, I know I'm probably overreacting from this, but seeing Oberstein next to Reinhardt alone when it used to be Kirheist and Oberstein was the one who said maybe showing favoritism and I don't like it.
He's a chief of staff. He's not even an admiral.
I know.
Yeah,
but
he's basically an attaché, Jacob.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. All the admirals there have way more authority.
Yep.
than he does. Now, I would say in some ways maybe that's actually wrong. Chief of staff is actually a little vague in regards to that, but anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, that's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's awesome, and it's on Amazon. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.